When it comes to Xamarin Forms, the goal and reason to use it is to share as much code as possible. However, there are simply some scenarios when you need to create some platform-specific functionality. Now, Xamarin is doing a great job at exposing native functionality as shared code or creating libraries that you can start to use quite quickly and that don't require you to use platform-specific code. But during this section, we will take a look at how to do that, sharing platform-specific code, if you ever need it. Before we go ahead and start working on that though, let's talk a bit about dependency services. What exactly are we going to need to do to be able to steal code from the shared project, our .NET Standard library, but use the platform-specific functionality? Basically, what will happen is that we create an interface that will be implemented differently for each of the projects that we have. But then it is an instance of the interface, the one that we use from the shared code, effectively allowing us to still add and reuse the functionality from the .NET Standard library, but having a different custom platform-specific logic behind it. With that said, you probably already identified the 3 steps that we need to follow. First, we will need to define an interface. Hopefully you are already familiar with what an interface are and how they work. But in the next lecture, we will still take a brief look at them. And anyway, after this section, you will probably fully comprehend how they are so useful. Second, comes the implementation of the interfaces. Here is where we will create the platform-specific code. And finally comes the registration, a way of telling Xamarin Forms that there is a dependency service available. Overall, this is what we would call dependency injection, the possibility to inject from a dependency service some code that can be used from the dependency client. In this scenario, the iOS and Android projects being the service, and the .NET Standard shared library being the client. So kind of like the opposite of what we would be used to with Xamarin Forms, where the clients are normally the Android and iOS projects using the shared code. But that is a quick introduction of dependency services. Starting in the next lecture, we will take a quick look at interfaces and complete the first step that I just mentioned.